Hello, everyone. Good evening. Rose here. Tonight I'm reacting to Foodie Beauty's. I'm sorry, that's wrong. I'm reacting to Amberlynn Reid's video called I Hate Keto Honest Talk Ice Cream Taste Test. So, Amberlynn Reid is somebody that I've not covered a lot of on my channel. But I just took a peek at her channel at this video called I Hate Keto Honest Talk Ice Cream Taste Test, and I've got a lot of thoughts on this video. And before I get started with this react, I would like to let everybody know who does not know, I am someone that I used to binge eat. Okay, I dealt with that for quite a while, and it took me 6 years to be in recovery. I had to figure a way to get in recovery. Because if you're someone that you have an ED, it's very difficult to answer the question of how do I fix an addiction to something I can't completely quit. Food is just one of those things you need for survival. So how do you fix the problem of an ED if you can't quit the very thing you're addicted to? And what took me 6 years to figure out is you have to repair your relationship with food. You have to respect food. You can't go overboard with it. You can't put emotional anchors on it. You have to treat it for what it is and no more than that. So, looking at Amberlynn Reid's video, she's taste testing 6 pints of ice cream, and I've got thoughts. So I just wanted to let everyone know watching this video what my background is before we start this video, because I've got stuff to say. And so we're going to do a react. So let me just go ahead and share the screen so you guys can see and hear what I see and hear with Miss Amber. So there she is. So we're just going to get started with this, and I'm going to give my thoughts. Let's go.
So if you didn't watch my Halloween live stream, you should definitely do that. It's still up. We had a moment. It was just as Sully from Monsters Inc. I did not vlog on Halloween at all. I should have because I personally loved my costume. I had a ton of fun with the makeup. It's just something different than what I've done in the past, obviously. But I was reading some comments and I saw one that asked if I got like keto farts. I didn't even know there was a such thing as that. So the answer is no. I also have not been constipated, which is another thing that people say happens.
Can I just say something before I get started with this? That if you're someone and you have an ED, diets don't work. Diets are things that you do when you want to lose just a small amount of weight in a very short period of time, like you're trying to prepare for, like your prom or something, I guess. You want to lose a small amount of weight to prepare to fit into an outfit or a vacation or something. If you have an ED, it's not about losing a small amount of weight in a very short period of time. It's about repairing your relationship with food. You've got a problem with food, and it's might be something emotional. It might be something psychological. There might be something that's triggering you to eat. Uh, EDs are kind of linked to things in your mind, things that have affected you, maybe some traumatic events or something you went through. It's tied to your emotions, it's tied to your mind. It's not about your stomach. The stomach is not the problem. It's what's going on in your head and what's going on in your heart. And you got to figure out what's going on in your head and in your heart to kind of fix the root of the problem, the heart of the ED. So Amber is over there and she has an ED. She's a binge eater. And in this video, she's going to taste test 6 pints of ice cream. And that's really something you shouldn't be doing, Amber. You should not be monetizing your ED. That's the worst thing you can do. You're taking something that requires therapy and counseling, and you're giving it a job. You're putting it to work. You're making money off of it, which is going to prompt you to not want to get rid of the problem or deal with the problem, but you're just going to look at that as something you're using to make money off of.
Feline hasn't either, so yeah, it doesn't happen to everybody. So no farties, no constipations. My poop is actually a little bit looser, TMI, but it's just the keto experience. You know what I'm saying? So I am about to have some leftovers. I made, which Feline loved. Last night I made spam cauliflower fried rice. I should have done a little recipe. You guys, I will be making this again. This is going to be a staple. This was amazing. Cauliflower, sriracha, soy sauce, eggs, onion, like the whole nine. Oh, by the way, we did end up decorating for Halloween. I never showed it. I like to forgot, but we're actually putting the Halloween decor away, and Christmas decor is coming out soon, but I think we're going to wait until Vlogmas. Okay, so someone recommended these to me. The Rebel ice creams.
Okay. Former binge eater here. Those things are dangerous. Those little pints of ice cream, those things are dangerous. You want to know why? Listen, those things are just straight up dangerous because they're convenient, because they're so easy to get to. When you have a binge eating problem, number one rule: don't have anything in the house that's a temptation. Don't put it anywhere near you, because if you have the temptation too close, you're going to give in to temptation. And she bought 6 pints of ice cream. That's just absolutely too much. Not just 1 pint, y'all, but 6 pints. Why do you need 6 pints, Amber? Why? I mean, do you need 6 pints of ice cream? Do you really need it? Remember, I'm someone that I dealt with binge eating. I've dealt with it. It took me 6 years to deal with it. But those pints of ice cream, they're too convenient, and they're right there within reach. One thing that I found dealing with my problem is, if you got a temptation, put it as far away from you as possible. Don't make it so convenient that it's right there for the taking. Because if you're wanting the ice cream and if you have to go get it at the store, that means you got to go through a whole lot of steps to go get it. It's not going to be right there when you want it. You can't give into the temptation right away. You have a moment to pause and say, I want the ice cream, but to get it, I have to actually go to the store, buy it, you know, go down the aisle, have the temptations out of reach. Otherwise, you're going to give into them and then you're going to regret it.
Or Rebel, whatever it may be. It's keto and all that. So I have 4 flavors. No, 5 flavors. We have salted caramel, triple chocolate,
I don't care if it is keto ice cream. It doesn't matter if it's keto ice cream. The fact is, you got 5 of them, girl. 5 or 6. Why do you need that much? That means you've got 5 temptations just sitting in the freezer, and they're right there. And if you have a craving for something sweet, they're right there. Rather than having them out of the house, and if you want something sweet, you might reach for something a bit healthier.
peanut butter caramel chip, mint chip, and a coffee chip. So I'm going to take a little nibble of each one, okay? And we're going to start with the coffee chip because that one sounds the best to me right now. Yummy things come to those who wait.
Okay, so if she's wanting to do like a little taste test of these ice creams, why not just take a little bit of each one, put it into a small bowl, and then taste test it that way? No, she's going to take the lid off and take a nibble of each one. And how much y'all want to bet that later on, when the camera is not on, that she's just going to go ham on all of them or some of them? I bet you she will, because that's what happens. From personal experience, the sweet cravings are always the worst at night. I don't know why it is, but you always get the sweet cravings at night. And if you're alone at home and the ice cream is right there, you're just going to go for it, especially if it's just right there within reach.
Wait For the creamiest ice cream, let your pint soften for at least 5 to 10 minutes. It's been longer than that, so. Smells so good. Looks so good.
And that's why the pints of ice cream is so dangerous, because it looks like a bowl. You know, you can just hold it in your hand and eat straight from the container. So you'll start off taking one bite and then you'll eat the whole doggone thing, because it's, things like that is just mindless thinking, mindless eating. You're like, oh, I'm just going to eat a little bit. The next thing you know, the whole thing is gone. You're like, oh my God, did I really just eat that? That's why those things are dangerous, because you can just hold on to them and start eating, and the next thing you know, it's all gone. And do you see the joy? You see how excited and happy she is to eat that? She's getting joy out of eating that, versus the meal she just had in front of her that looked healthy with the spam, whatever else it was. I'm not exactly sure what dish that was, but she wasn't eating that. She's eating the ice cream. Clearly, she's getting much more joy out of eating that ice cream than the other stuff that was in front of her. She's not eating that first. She's eating the ice cream. That's the problem with binge eating. Like you're always going to gravitate towards the stuff that is sweet and tastes good. You're going to go for that first before you go for the healthy stuff, because the healthy stuff isn't as sweet and isn't like dessert.
She's tasty. We're going to do mint. Smells like, literally smells amazing. Oh my God. This one's even better than the coffee one. Peanut butter caramel chip. Thank you to the person who recommended these, because
I'm sorry. It takes one to know one. This is a binge. I know she's not eating a lot of this ice cream on camera, but that's a binge. Girl, you went to the store and you got all of that ice cream because you were on a binge. And you're going to binge on that later. You know you are. Like I said, it takes one to know one. You don't go to the store and buy that much ice cream unless you want to binge.
because I've been eating something sweet. They all smell good. I feel like I have to smell them first.
You're not smelling them, no. You're eating them.
Whoa. What the heck? These are so good. And they're lactose free. This one is triple chocolate.
Again, it doesn't matter if it's keto. It doesn't matter if it's lactose free. It doesn't matter if you're eating a large amount of it. You understand what I'm saying? An ice cream can be lactose free, but if you're eating a large amount of it, you're still eating a large amount of calories, which, I'm sorry, ma'am, you don't need a large amount of calories. And if you have a problem with food, you don't need that much temptation in your freezer staring you in the face.
Chocolate. Mmm. Triple chocolate might be my number one fave. Last but not least, salted caramel.
You guys notice that she is just feverishly going after that ice cream. I'm not trying to pick on her. I'm not trying to be mean, but just look how passionately she's ripping into that ice cream. Like, just can't wait to get the lid off and eat them. She's gravitating towards the ice cream, like, I gotta have some of this, I gotta have some of that. Versus the food that was in front of her. She could have eaten that food first and filled up before going for the ice cream. Let's ignore the healthy stuff and let's go for the unhealthy stuff.
Oh, that smells so creamy and sweet. Yep. These slap. I know I wasn't going to do keto junk, but to prevent myself from a binge.
Too late. Too late. So you had that food in front of you. You could have eaten that, felt full for a while. You ignored that and you went for the ice cream. You're trying to avoid a binge, but yet you're putting ice cream in front of you. So, how are you preventing a binge if you've got your temptation that close? Because that matters, Amber. If you're trying to control your eating, if you're trying not to binge, it's a big no no to put temptation foods like chips or ice cream or cookies near you because you know, and I know, just because it's there, just because it's within reach, you're going to go for it. You're going to pick up one of those pints of ice cream and you're going to start eating off of it just because you can hold it in your hand. And the next thing you know, the whole pint is going to be gone. And you're not going to stop at that one pint. You're going to go for the other pints as well. Those are all going to be gone within a few days.
A whole one of these. Which one is the one I want right now? I'm gonna have the chocolate. This whole pint is only 5 grams of carbs, net carbs. Like what? Update: Feline just tried all of them with her eyes closed and had to guess which was which. Her favorite is the salted caramel. So I think that might be the one she's gonna eat on tonight. But I have literally been craving chocolate like mad. So what was that? The chocolate devil. I'm just kidding. That was scary. I'm gonna be having some of this triple situation type deal. Oh, many have discovered that eating foods high in healthy fats and low in carbs trains your body to burn fat instead of sugar as an energy source. Common benefits people may experience as a low carb, high fat diet are weight loss, increased energy, suppressed appetite, and mental clarity. Love that. Okay, so it's the end of the night. Um, Honesty hour. Since I started keto slash low carb, um, I haven't been perfect, not gonna lie. But one thing I can say that I have done, which is something very different than what I've done in the past, I've cooked every meal myself. I told Feline specifically this is something I want to do. So I cook 2 to 3 times a day, and I know that's like not big to some people, but for me it is. Coming from the person who would order takeout for every meal. Or if I wasn't doing takeout, Feline would cook. You know, sure, I would help her. For a couple of weeks now, I've done all the cooking of the things that I eat.
You know what, Amber? I'm going to stop you for a minute. If you're doing all the cooking, if you are attempting to get on track and do your own cooking, I support that. I do. But you are undermining yourself if you're trying to get healthy. If it's you're not just saying it, you're really trying it. You're undermining yourself by having the temptation foods so close to you, and there's so much of them. Girl, you didn't just buy one pint of ice cream, you bought five. Or is it six? That's too much temptation, especially right now. You're not even halfway through recovery and you're buying massive amounts of temptation foods. Can I offer up a tip for you? Actually, a few tips as someone who went through the BED and I got in recovery. Tip number one: have something already made and convenient to eat, like a soup or a stew, something healthy. Because if it's already made and it's in your fridge, then all you have to do is heat it up. And soups and stews, because they're liquid, they will fill you up and take up space in your stomach, and then you'll feel full. And that helps to keep you away from temptation. Tip number two: take all of the big glasses, bowls, and plates out of your house and replace them with smaller bowls, smaller glasses. And if you have a small plate, you can only put so much on it. If you have a small glass, you can only put so much in it. That will help with your portion control and how many calories you take in. And if you finish whatever's in a small glass or on a plate that's small or a small bowl, then you'll have that moment to say, do I really want more? If you put things on a big plate or a big bowl or a big glass, you're already consuming way more calories and way more than you need. You're already overdoing it. So that's just a sneaky little tip. Like trick yourself into thinking you're eating more or drinking more than you are. And with the smaller glasses, bowls, and plates, you can only put so much in those, and then you can finish whatever's in the glass or in the bowl or on the plate. And then you can have that moment to pause and say to yourself, do I really want more? Do I really need more? It'll help with the self control.
There has been two meals that Feline has made. You guys actually saw one on live stream, which was a steak salad, which I came up with one night, and then she ended up following my lead and making it for herself, and then we kind of like fell in love. But she made me a steak salad, and then just tonight, the reason why I'm bringing this up, she cooked for me again, which is the second time in a couple weeks, which is so crazy. All by my choosing. You know, I need to do this myself. I need to. Also, I already know what's going to be said. So let me clarify before the rumor mill starts and I'm called a liar again. In a recent video, I tried Feline's cabbage, and in the video, I said how she made it, and I'm going to try it. It's because, like I said, I've been cooking all my meals. She's been cooking her own meals, and she made the cabbage for herself. That's why I was just going to try it. Because if she did cook for us, then I wouldn't have said, oh, I'm just going to try it.
Can I also say this to you, Amber? I appreciate that you're trying to eat healthy. If you are trying to eat healthy, I appreciate the fact that you are cooking your own meals. I think you need to. You know, like it's good to cook your own meals. It's good to try to eat healthy. I support that. But let's be real, let's be honest here. As someone that I've been there and it took a while to get out of that spot and you're still there, if you have a BED, which you do, if you are an emotional eater, which you are, you need counseling. It's not just about food. It's not just about portion control. It's not about just eating healthy. If you've got something tied up with food, something emotional, something, if you're eating out of boredom, if you're eating because you are trying to fill up some kind of mental or emotional space that's empty, you got to find out what your triggers are. What's triggering you to eat? Is because you're upset? Is it because you're bored? Is it because you've got a ritual revolving around food, like when you sit in front of the TV or something? You've got to find out what your triggers are and be self-aware of them and know how to control them. You first you got to develop that self-awareness, and then you've got to find other things that give you as much pleasure as food, so that food can be pushed out as far as being the sole source of your joy, love, and pleasure. That's just for me. If food is the only thing you look forward to or the main thing you look forward to, you've got to find something else in life that gives you just as much joy as food. That is how you get over the BED. You have to find out what your triggers are. You have to basically just analyze what are the rituals revolving around food. When do you eat the most? What triggers you to eat? Is it a time of day or night? And just be self-aware of all of that and go through counseling. I recommend counseling. I recommend talking to somebody, really talking to somebody, not bullshitting somebody, just being honest. And don't put the temptation foods near you, like 6 pints of ice cream. That's too much. That's over the top. Too much temptation at your fingertips. It's right there in your freezer. You know you're going to go for it. You're going to get those sweet cravings at night because they always come at night. And you're going to grab one of the pints and you're going to go for it. And it's going to happen repeatedly. And whatever you're trying to do during the daytime with your healthy eating, that's going to really undermine it. So that's just from me.
The fact that I even have to clarify that is silly, silly, silly. But I just know, I feel like I know where people are going to go with that. So, yeah, I did try a bite of her food here and there, and she tries a bite of mine as well. But it's just me cooking for myself. It just makes me feel so much better. I need to teach myself how to cook more. I just can't rely on takeout. But tonight she made these like chicken sausages I've never had before, and she made them in a very different way than I've ever had, and so good. Loved it. I'm just sitting here thinking like,
As far as having a BED, I will say convenience is not your friend, it's your enemy. Like if you're going to the store and you see foods like cookies and cakes and cupcakes and sweet things and convenient foods are not your friend, they are your enemy. Because if they're convenient, you'll buy them. And a lot of stuff that's convenient is not healthy. So you want to stay away from anything that's convenient. You'll grab at it just because it's convenient, because it's there, because it's within reach. It's like the ice cream, like 6 pints of ice cream. She's going to eat it because it's there. You got to stay away from temptation. You got to stay away from convenience. If it's more of a pain in the neck to make some soup or some stew, trust me, the pain in the neck is worth it because the pain in the neck is going to end up being healthier and will lead to better health versus a convenience food, which is probably not going to be very good for you. A lot of convenience foods are just junk for your body. There's nothing healthy in it. There's nothing healthy that your body can derive from it, and you're not going to feel full because you're going to put that junk down your throat, and then your body's going to say, "Thanks for the junk, but we're hungry. We're starving to nutrition. We need it. So give us some more stuff," and that's going to end up making you eat even more.
like the very reason why she did that was because I wanted to binge. I didn't want to cook. I just, for some reason, it felt so overwhelming to me to even just stand in the kitchen. And that was my day. Just
Right. So cooking is a pain in the butt. You just said that. It's a pain in the butt. You got dirty dishes to deal with. You got to fix the food. It's going to take time. So, Amber, do you see the problem? You've got BED. You're a binge eater. So, if you go in the kitchen and if you're hungry and you've got those cravings, you know where your mind is going to go. I know where it's going to go. You be like, oh, I could cook something, but I've got ice cream in the freezer. So why not just grab that? Because that'll fill me up. That's why it's a bad idea to have those temptation foods because it's right there and it's easy and it's quick.
fighting off the urge to like order takeout or binge or whatever it may be. And this is the first day that I've felt really just like defeated. Like I want to quit keto, low carb, and hop onto a other lifestyle change or diet. You have
Another tip for you, Amber, since you have a BED, you got to make the changes gradual. You can't just expect to go from one way of eating to a completely different way of eating overnight. Your body's not going to accept that. Your mind is not going to accept that. Your mind is going to fight you because you develop rituals around food. If you develop a comfort level with food, you're going if you're eating used to eating takeout and ice cream and everything, and then you try to eat healthy, you know what your mind is going to do? Is going to say, "What are you doing? We want ice cream. We want cake. We want all this unhealthy stuff because that's what we're used to. That's our comfort." So the best way to go about it is to make the changes gradual. Like start to introduce healthy things slowly into your diet to where your mind and your body get used to it. I'm sorry, as a former binge eater, you can't just go from eating junk food to just taking all the junk food out and then replacing it with completely healthy food. The changes have to be gradual, like replacing whole milk with 2% milk. You're doing the switch out game. Switch out something unhealthy for something healthy. Do it slowly, and then as you get used to the different things with the things that taste different, if there's you play a game with yourself, challenge yourself. If you like something that's not healthy, find something that's healthier that tastes just as good as the unhealthy stuff, and that way your mind and your body won't fight you. Just do that slowly. And like I said, put things on smaller plates and in smaller bowls and in smaller glasses to help control your portions. And that'll help too to reduce the amount of calories that you're eating and that you're drinking because liquid calories count as much as the solid calories. And go to counseling and go to therapy and to talk to people. When you're trying to recover from a BED, you have to do the full recovery, the complete recovery. You can't just address the body. You have to address the mind and the emotions. You to get to the root of everything, you have to pull out the entire root. You can't leave any part of it behind. You have to see what is tied up with food. Am I using it for comfort? Am I using it in place of love? Am I eating because I'm bored? Do I eat most when I'm sad? When I'm angry? You have to get to the root of all of it and understand it before you can get over it.
Because I have been doing every single meal myself, and I know that's such a normal thing for people, like such a normal task that I just today felt like I couldn't do. And, I'm just so grateful to her because if it wasn't for her, then I literally would have messed up everything. It's been freeing and satisfying. And I don't know, it's just been really nice making meals myself and doing it myself every single day. And the mixture of like fixing my medicine and working on my depression and my
You know, Amber, you want to help yourself? Go in the kitchen right now and throw all that ice cream away. Just get it away from you. If you want to stay on track, trash all of that ice cream. Just dump it down the sink. That way it's out of sight, out of mind. You can't have it so close. You're putting temptation foods too close. Get rid of all the junk food, all of it. And that way, if you want some later, it's out of sight, out of mind, and it's going to be a process to get it. And you'll have that moment to say, do I really want that? Do I really need that? It'll give you a moment to pause and think. Having that much temptation, not good, not good at all.
polar, my anxiety, and binging, just keto's a completely different way of life. And some other things that are going on in my life and like my medicals that have been so crazy lately and just I don't know, I think it's finally starting to really take a toll a little bit. I'm kind of running low on my energy bar and I don't know what to do about it besides focus in on my feelings, wait for my next psychologist appointment, and write it out, journal it out. But normally these emotions I keep to myself, but I wanted to share them with you guys. I'm kind of in a weird stage with keto. I like don't want to do it anymore, and that's just like where my head's at right now. And this is just me being honest and open. Oh, that's just kind of where I'm at. I just feel more swollen, which I thought was going to be the opposite.
I think part of the reason why like she's hating the keto because of how she used to be or how she might still be. So like when you're switching around your eating, when you have a binge eating disorder, that is your mind fighting you. It's fighting change. Humans, we all get used to the familiar, what's comforting. The familiar becomes comforting to us. And you can get comfortable with things that are not good for you. So if you develop bad eating habits and you're eating fast food and ice cream and all that, that becomes your comfort. That becomes your familiar. So when you change the scenery, the comfort and the familiar go away. And then your mind starts to fight you like, we don't like this. You may be eating better food, but the familiar and the comfort is gone. And so mentally you're like, irritated, or I don't like this. And that's why you got to do it slowly. That's why you got to look at it in a positive light, treat it in a positive light. I'm glad that she's trying, if she's honestly trying. But if you are putting temptation foods near you, Amber, like 6 pints of ice cream, that is not you trying. It's not you trying. I mean, you're half-assing it. You're eating the healthy food, but at the same time you are binging on ice cream. How is that really 100% trying? If you're going to do it, you got to go all the way with it. You can't do it halfway. Sorry. You can't just say, oh, I did keto all day, I deserve this ice cream. No, you're giving yourself an out to continue thinking and doing the things that made you unhealthy in the first place.
That like I look so swollen. I feel like I'm eating more sodium than usual. Maybe it's in my head. I don't know. I'm justifying pork rinds because if I ever feel the urge to binge, I turn to pork rinds, but then I like overeat on them a little bit, and I don't know. I think I need to talk more to my psychologist.
When it comes to binge eating, things like ice cream, cookies, chips are the worst because like I just who stops at one potato chip? Who stops at one pork rind? Who stops at one cookie? You'll eat the whole bag or the whole box. Oh, it's just one cookie. It's just one potato chip and the whole bag is gone. Just like those pints of ice cream because they are like you can hold them in your hand, and it's shaped like a bowl. You'll eat the whole doggone thing, and she's got 6 of them.
About keto, low carb, lipedema versus like my recovery and binge eating. Keto's so restrictive and it's only triggering me. So I'm trying to figure it out. I have two professionals telling me to do two completely different things. That's frustrating. So I think for my next lipedema appointment, I want to bring in the topic of my psychologist and see what she has to say. I kind of want to hear opinions on from both of them as like an opposite opinion. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just want them to know about each other more so we can find like a common ground because it's like I can't do keto if I'm going to binge, and I can't be successful with my eating disorder if I'm just triggered to binge all the time. So we need to figure this out as a team.
Big question for Amber. So are you talking to someone who specializes in binge eating? I know you're talking about a psychologist, but what about someone who specializes in eating disorders? Someone who that's your specialty. Are you talking to somebody like that? Are you?
Team, because I'm willing to put in the work. I'm trying my hardest. But right now, I'm just feeling defeated. And I know that's like normal. That happens to everybody. But
So you're feeling defeated. This is like the crazy 8 cycle with binge eating. This is the crazy 8 cycle. So you start off on a high and you're like, you get determined, right? You feel that determination of I'm going to change my life. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of being on this roller coaster. And you're like, you got a lot of gusto. You got a lot of determination inside of you. That's it. I'm done. And so you start off on the high part of the roller coaster where you're going up the rails. And you want to eat healthy and I'm going to do this. And then you start to slip. Then you start to come down from that high point. And you get frustrated. You get those cravings for food. Your mind, your body starts to crave the familiar, the cookies, the cakes, the pizza, whatever it is that you are used to eating. And then you start mentally doing gymnastics where you're like, well, I can have one cookie. I can have a piece of cake, no big deal. I'll go back on the diet or eat healthy tomorrow. You'll make excuses. You'll find reasons to continue the unhealthy eating. And so what that leads to is a binge. And then what happens after that? Then you're on the low point of the roller coaster where you'll do it and then you feel like crap and then you beat yourself up mentally and then you say to yourself, this is hopeless. I can't do this. This is too hard. I don't have the willpower. You will beat up on yourself and then you'll give up. You'll feel defeated and then you'll give up. And that will lead to you slipping down more and more until you're no longer trying to eat healthy. You just say, I can't win. I want these things and I can't stop going after them. So why bother? Well, the answer to that question is because it's worth it to bother to get healthy. It's worth it to fight for your health. Your health is precious. I mean, if you're not healthy, what are you? You're sick. And you're very sick, Amber. Your quality of life has gone down. You're not doing much these days. So this is a fight worth fighting for. And you got a serious eating problem And rather than getting on camera and binging on camera with ice cream and monetizing your eating problem, seek therapy. And don't encourage yourself to binge eat by eating on camera. Keep the eating off camera, and that way you're not monetizing your eating problem and turning it into profit. Because that's not what an eating problem is for. It's not to make money off of. It is something you just go through. You realize that something is wrong and you need treatment and you get it treated, but you do not monetize an addiction. That is the worst thing, to monetize an addiction and make money off of it, because if you do that, then you don't want real help and you're not going to accept real help, and you'll never ever get in recovery because you're making money off of it.
It's overwhelming for me right now, truly.
Okay, so that was her video. Like I said, I just had a lot of thoughts. And you can see why. I'm someone that I've dealt with an eating problem. It took me 6 years to deal with it. And what she just did was showing the temptations and binging on them on camera, maybe not in large amounts, but from experience, I can tell you that that ice cream is probably halfway gone right now. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this React video. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good night. Bye-bye.